Some heartbreak does not begin with shouting. It begins with silence, the kind of silence that enters a room and changes everything, the kind that makes your heart feel strange before your mind understands why. Olivia remembered that silence for years because it was the sound of the day her life split into two parts, life before Ryan and life after Ryan. At 27, Olivia believed she had found the man she would grow old with. Ryan was not flashy, not the loudest man in any room, not the kind who tried too hard to impress people. He was easy to be around, funny in a quiet way, gentle when he wanted to be, and attentive in the beginning. That matters because beginnings can be dangerously convincing. They met at a coffee shop on a rainy afternoon. Olivia had been fighting with her laptop for nearly 20 minutes. Ryan noticed, walked over smiling, and said, "That machine looks like it hates you." She laughed. He helped her fix the issue. Then they talked. One conversation became another, then another. The numbers were exchanged, and slowly something began. At first it felt natural, comfortable, warm. Ryan knew how to make her laugh, how to ask questions that felt meaningful, how to make ordinary evenings feel lighter. He remembered details, her favorite tea, the fact that she hated horror movies, the way she always checked if doors were locked twice. Small things, the kind of things people notice when they care, or when they want to appear to care, but Olivia did not know the difference yet. Months passed, then a year, then nearly 2. Ryan became part of her life. He knew her mother, her closest friends, her routines, her dreams, and Olivia loved him honestly, the kind of honest love that does not hold pieces back. She imagined marriage, children, a house filled with soft laughter, quiet mornings, family holidays, everything people imagine when love feels safe. And for a while, Ryan seemed to want those things too. That is what made what happened so cruel, because betrayal from someone who never pretended hurts differently than betrayal from someone who built dreams beside you. One evening they sat together after dinner, Ryan resting against the couch, Olivia curled beside him, and he said, "One day you would make an incredible mother." She smiled, and in moments like that she believed deeply in forever. Then life changed. Quietly at first, Olivia felt tired constantly, strange tired, not normal tired. Then came nausea. Morning sickness, missed cycles, the uncomfortable suspicion growing louder inside her. She bought a test, then another, then sat in her bathroom staring at 2 lines that changed her future forever. Pregnant. Her hands shook, not because she was unhappy, because life had suddenly become real in a new way. Fear and joy can exist together. That is something people rarely talk about. She cried, then laughed, then cried again, then called Ryan. He answered quickly, "Hey you, I need to see you." Her voice sounded strange even to herself. "Everything okay? Just come over, please." He arrived an hour later, concerned. What happened? She handed him the test. At first he stared blankly, then looked at her, then back at the test, and the room changed. That was the moment, the exact moment. She felt something shift, not because of words, because of his face. Fear, not emotional surprise, not overwhelmed joy. Fear, pure, unmistakable fear. Ryan sat down slowly. Neither spoke for several seconds. Then he whispered, "Are you serious?" She nodded, tears in her eyes. I took 2. Silence. Long, heavy silence. Then, "What are we going to do?" That question hurt, because it was not how are you feeling? Or, come here. Or even, we will figure this out. It was, what are we going to do? As though the child was a problem arriving, not a life beginning. Olivia tried to stay calm. We talk. We plan. We figure things out together. Ryan started pacing. No, no, no. This is too much. She stared at him. What do you mean? I mean, this is not the plan. The plan? Funny how life rarely asks permission before changing direction. Olivia stood too. Ryan, please calm down. He laughed nervously. Calm down? Olivia, I am about to become a father. Yes, and we can handle this. Can we? The way he said it made her chest tighten, because for the first time she heard doubt where she expected partnership. Days passed badly. Ryan became distant almost immediately. Calls shorter, texts delayed, energy colder, conversations strained. Olivia kept making excuses for him. He is overwhelmed. He is scared. Men process differently. He just needs time. Hope can make people incredibly patient with behavior that should concern them. 1 week later, they met for dinner. Ryan barely touched his food. Olivia finally asked, "Talk to me." He looked exhausted. I do not think I am ready for this. Her stomach dropped. Ready for what? For any of this? The baby, fatherhood, marriage pressure, everything. She felt her throat tighten. Pressure. Ryan, this is not pressure. This is life. Exactly. That word, exactly. As though life happening was somehow an attack against him. We can figure this out. He shook his head. I do not want to pretend. Pretend what? That I am ready to be someone's father. That sentence changed everything, because honesty can be devastating when it reveals cowardice. She whispered, "So what are you saying?" Silence. Then finally, "I think I need space." Space. She almost laughed. People say space when they do not want to say abandonment. How much space? I do not know. Ryan, please. He looked away, and that hurt more than anything, because eye contact requires courage. Cowardice often looks down. The following weeks were agony. Ryan became increasingly absent, then almost unreachable, then completely gone. No dramatic goodbye, no screaming argument, no closure, just gradual disappearance, the cruel kind. Texts unanswered, calls ignored, promises to talk later that never happened. Then eventually silence, total silence. Olivia sat on her bed one night holding her phone, reading old messages, wondering how someone who once discussed baby names jokingly could vanish so completely. That kind of confusion breaks people. Her mother found her crying one afternoon and simply held her. No lectures, no speeches, just presence. Sometimes that matters more. Financial fear arrived next. Doctor visits, housing worries, future uncertainty. Olivia had savings, but not endless ones, and pregnancy alone felt terrifying. Friends helped, family helped, but emotionally, nothing replaced the reality. The father of her child had chosen absence. That truth was unbearable. One night she whispered to her unborn baby, "I am so sorry," then cried until sleep came. Months passed. Pregnancy changed her body, her routines, her emotions, and slowly something else changed. Her expectations. She stopped waiting for Ryan's name to light up her phone, stopped imagining dramatic apologies, stopped believing he would suddenly become brave. Acceptance does not arrive beautifully. It arrives tired. Then came labor, pain, fear, hospitals, long exhausting hours, and finally, a little girl. tiny fingers, soft crying, perfect face. Olivia held her daughter and cried harder than she ever had, not from sadness, from overwhelming love. Her mother stood beside her. "What is her name?" Olivia smiled through tears. "Grace," because somehow, despite everything, Grace was exactly what had entered her life. And in that hospital room, Olivia made a quiet promise. "I will protect you. I will love you. And somehow, I will survive this." She did not know then how hard survival would be, or how many years would pass before Ryan returned. Take a breath, because this is where survival begins. Single motherhood, struggle, rebuilding life, and the shocking day the man who disappeared comes back. Single motherhood does not begin with strength. It begins with fear, the kind of fear that sits quietly in your chest while everyone tells you that you will be okay. And maybe you will be, but in the beginning, you do not feel okay. Olivia learned that quickly, because once hospital flowers disappear and visitors go home, and the room becomes quiet, reality begins. A newborn baby does not pause because your heart is broken. Grace needed feeding, changing, holding, comfort, sleepless nights, constant care, and Olivia gave everything she had, even on days when she felt emotionally empty. That is motherhood, showing up while exhausted, loving while hurting, continuing when your body begs for rest. There were nights Olivia cried while rocking Grace to sleep, not because she regretted her daughter, never that, because motherhood without partnership is heavy. There is no one to say, "I will take this feeding, go sleep." No one to share the fear when the baby cries differently. No one to celebrate tiny milestones with equal emotional investment. That loneliness is real. People romanticize strength, but survival often feels ugly while you are living it. Financial pressure grew fast. Baby supplies, medical appointments, child care planning, unexpected expenses. Olivia returned to work earlier than she wanted, not because she was ready, because life demanded it. Her mother helped, friends helped when they could, but Olivia still carried most of the weight, and slowly something happened. She became stronger without noticing. Not loud strength, quiet strength, the kind built through repetition. Wake up, work, care for Grace. Come home, repeat, one difficult day at a time. Months turned into years. Grace grew. First smile, first steps, first words, tiny shoes by the door, little bedtime stories, messy breakfasts, small laughter filling rooms that once held heartbreak. And somehow, Grace became the healing Olivia never expected. Not because a child fixes pain, but because love can rebuild parts of you heartbreak destroys. Ryan remained absent, completely. No birthday cards, no phone calls, no child support, no apologies, nothing. That silence became its own answer. At first, Olivia checked social media, wondered where he was, imagined dramatic explanations. Eventually, she stopped, because emotional survival requires releasing people who repeatedly choose absence. Grace asked about her father eventually. That was one of the hardest moments. She was 6. Olivia was helping with homework when Grace asked, "Do I have a daddy?" The room felt smaller instantly. Children ask questions without understanding how deeply they land. Olivia swallowed carefully. "Yes, sweetheart. Where is he?" That question hurt in ways language cannot fully explain. She chose honesty appropriate for a child. "He is not around right now. Did I do something bad?" Olivia immediately pulled Grace close. "No, never. Absolutely never." Children often internalize absence as personal rejection. That truth breaks many hearts. Grace nodded slowly, then returned to coloring. Children move on faster than adults. But Olivia cried privately that night. Years passed. Olivia rebuilt her life carefully. Promotions came. Financial stability improved. Confidence returned. Not fully, but enough. She learned how to make decisions alone, how to fix problems, how to survive emergencies, how to comfort herself, how to create joy without waiting for rescue. That matters because healing is not becoming emotionless. It is becoming capable. And then, 8 years later, everything changed. It happened on an ordinary Saturday, the kind of normal day that gives no warning before changing your life. Olivia and Grace were at a park, Grace laughing on the swings, Olivia holding coffee, watching her daughter with quiet pride. Then a voice behind her, Olivia. Her entire body froze. Some voices live in memory permanently. She turned slowly. Ryan stood there, older, tired-looking, different, but unmistakably Ryan. For a second her brain refused reality. Then anger moved through her like heat. Grace ran over smiling. "Mom, can you push me higher?" Then noticed the stranger. "Who is that?" The question landed like impact. Ryan looked at Grace, then at Olivia. His expression changed. That was the first time he truly saw what his absence had missed. Olivia's voice was cold. "Grace, sweetheart, go play for 1 minute." Grace obeyed. Ryan looked shaken. "She is beautiful." Olivia almost laughed. "You do not get to do that." "Do what?" "Show up after 8 years and speak like this is emotional." He looked down. "I deserve that." "Yes, yes you do." Silence sat heavily between them. Finally he said, "Can we talk?" Olivia crossed her arms. "Now, please." They sat on a bench nearby. Ryan looked nervous. "Good. He should. I have wanted to do this for years." Olivia stared at him, and yet somehow 8 years passed. "I know." That sentence meant nothing. "Why are you here?" He inhaled slowly. "I was scared." Olivia laughed bitterly. 8 years scared. I handled it badly. Badly. That word almost offended her. You abandoned your child. You abandoned me. You disappeared. That is not handling something badly. That is cowardice. He accepted the words silently, which somehow made them land harder. Then came the explanation. Immaturity, fear, shame, financial struggles, embarrassment, bad decisions, running because returning felt harder each year, and maybe parts were true, but explanations do not restore lost years. That matters because reasons are not the same as accountability. Grace's mind too. That sentence changed the air. Olivia's face hardened. Biologically, yes. In every meaningful way, no. He flinched. Good. Truth should sting sometimes. I want to know her. Olivia stared at him. The audacity was breathtaking. Want? Interesting word, because wanting after years of silence sounds incredibly selfish. Children are not abandoned subscriptions you reactivate when convenient. I know I do not deserve anything. True, but I am asking. For a long moment Olivia said nothing. Then, why now? His answer was quieter than expected. Because I saw a father with his daughter recently and realized what I threw away. Regret. There it was. But regret after absence does not automatically create access. That distinction matters. Olivia looked toward Grace. Her little laughter carried through the air. That child deserved protection, not emotional experiments. I need time. That was all she offered. Fair enough. He gave her his number, as though she did not already remember it from years of pain. Then he left. Olivia sat shaking, not from longing, from emotional shock. Grace ran back smiling. Who was that? Olivia looked at her daughter, a question 8 years in the making, and whispered, "Someone from a long time ago. Take a breath, because part 3 is where truth becomes even harder. Can an absent father return? Can forgiveness exist without trust? And what happens when Grace learns exactly who Ryan is? Some returns do not bring joy, they bring confusion, because not every person who comes back deserves re-entry. That was what Olivia had to decide, not whether Ryan regretted leaving, that part was obvious, but whether regret was enough. And regret alone rarely is. That night Olivia barely slept. Memories returned without permission. The coffee shop, their first apartment dinners, the day she told him she was pregnant, the silence, the disappearing messages, the empty years, and now suddenly he was back. Grace noticed immediately that something was different. "You are quiet, Mommy. Just tired, sweetheart. Was that man your friend?" The question landed gently but painfully. Olivia smiled weakly. "Something like that." Grace nodded and moved on. Children often do that. They ask simple questions, then continue with life. Adults stay trapped in the answers. Ryan messaged the next morning, "Thank you for hearing me. No pressure. I will wait." Olivia stared at the message for a long time, then locked her phone. She was not ready. Days passed. Then a week. Then another message. "I would like a chance to explain properly." Still no pressure. Olivia hated how calm the words looked, as though emotional destruction could be managed politely. Lauren came over one evening, and Olivia told her everything. Lauren stared in disbelief. 8 years. Yes, and now he wants to be father of the year. Olivia laughed despite herself. It is not funny. No, but absurd things sometimes are. Lauren became serious. "What do you want?" That was the hardest question, because anger was easy, decision was harder. "I do not know." "Do you miss him?" Olivia thought carefully. "No." "Do you trust him?" "Absolutely not." "Then what is confusing you?" "Grace." That was the truth. Not love, not unfinished romance. Grace, because children complicate emotional clarity. A child deserves truth, but also protection. That balance is difficult. Weeks later, Olivia agreed to meet Ryan alone. Public place, daytime, neutral ground. He looked nervous when she arrived. Good. He should. He looked older than before. Life had marked him, not dramatically, just honestly. He began quietly. "Thank you for coming. Say what you need to say. No speeches, no emotional performance." He nodded. "Fair?" Then he spoke honestly for the first time in years. About fear, shame, how every month that passed made returning harder, how he followed parts of Olivia's life from a distance, how seeing photos hurt, how he convinced himself Grace was better without him. That sentence angered Olivia instantly. Do not call cowardice sacrifice. He looked down. "You are right, I am." For a long silence, neither spoke. Then Ryan asked, "Is she happy?" That question felt strangely human. "Yes, she is incredible." He smiled sadly. "I missed everything." "Yes, first words, first birthdays, school plays, bad fevers, bedtime stories, fear of thunderstorms, lost teeth, everything." He closed his eyes, and for the first time, Olivia believed some of his pain was real, but real regret does not erase consequences. That matters. Then came the question, can I meet her properly? Olivia inhaled slowly. This is not about what you want. I know. It is about what is healthy for her. I know, and I do not know if you are healthy for her. That truth landed heavily. Fair? Again, that word. Fair? Mature words are easy. Consistency is harder. Olivia made one thing clear. No promises, no rushed roles, no emotional confusion for Grace. If you enter her life and disappear again, that damage will be unforgivable. Ryan nodded immediately. I understand. Do you? Because understanding sounds easy in coffee shops. Parenting is harder. Weeks later, Olivia introduced Ryan carefully. Grace sat across from him, eating ice cream. Curious, unaware of history. Ryan looked emotional immediately. Olivia watched everything. Protective, hyper-aware. Grace asked directly, are you Mommy's friend? Ryan looked at Olivia first, then answered softly, a very old friend. Children sense emotional tension faster than adults realize. Grace studied him, then smiled. You look nervous. Olivia almost laughed. Ryan smiled too. A little. By little. That first meeting was awkward but gentle. Then came another. Then another. Slowly, carefully, Ryan showed up. That surprised Olivia most. On time, consistently, quietly. No dramatic declarations, just presence. Grace began warming to him, and that terrified Olivia, because attachment creates risk. If he failed now, the damage would belong to Grace too. Months passed. Then one evening, Grace asked the question Olivia feared. Is he my daddy? Silence. The room changed. Olivia sat beside her daughter. Yes, sweetheart. Grace looked confused. Why was he gone? Children ask the hardest questions with the softest voices. Olivia chose honesty carefully. He'd made mistakes. Big mistakes. Did he not love me? That question broke Ryan visibly. Before Olivia could answer, he spoke. I was wrong. But it was never because you were unlovable. Never. Tears filled his eyes. And surprisingly, Grace hugged him. Children can be astonishingly generous, sometimes more than adults deserve. Years of rebuilding followed. Slow trust, careful boundaries, therapy, conversations, consistency. Ryan earned some space back, not because Olivia forgot, because he kept showing up. That matters, because apologies without repeated action mean very little. One evening Ryan asked Olivia quietly, do you think you could ever forgive me fully? She thought for a long time, then answered honestly, forgiveness and trust are different things. He nodded. I know. I forgive enough to move forward, but some scars remain. Fair? That word again. And this time it sounded earned. Did they reunite romantically? No. That chapter had ended. Some relationships cannot be rebuilt romantically after certain betrayals. And that is okay. Not every ending becomes a love reunion. Sometimes healing looks different. Ryan became a father eventually. Not the father he should have been from day one, but a present one, and Olivia built a life stronger than the one abandonment tried to destroy. So let me say this clearly. If someone leaves when life becomes difficult, believe what that reveals, but also understand this. People can change. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do not. Change is proven through consistency, not emotion, not tears, not regret. And if you are raising a child alone right now, please hear me. Your strength may feel invisible, but it is not. Every exhausted morning, every difficult bill, every quiet sacrifice, every moment you continue despite heartbreak. It matters. You are building something extraordinary. And if someone returns after years, you are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to ask hard questions. You are allowed to require proof, because access to your life is not automatic, not after abandonment. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of someone, if it gave you hope, subscribe now for more emotional stories, life lessons, heartbreak, healing, and unforgettable truths. Because sometimes stories do not just entertain, sometimes they remind us how strong we really are. Thanks for watching.